Welcome, Internet goers. Sometimes a death is mourned by a few or many. Other times it shakes and affects the very thing that made them who they were and the very area of where they were from. And I think earlier this month, well, actually you could say earlier in the past 2 months, that has happened in 2 different places. One was the unfortunate passing of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes in June for the WWE and pro wrestling in general. And the other one happened within the past week or so with the unfortunate passing of the 4th president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, who died at the young age of 55. Now, everyone who's watched a lot of my stuff knows that I like a few things. Like video games, anime, movies, music, and 2 things have really, shaped me within the past, you could say 3, that have shaped me in my childhood and adolescence. Obviously one was video games, one was film and animation, and the other one was professional wrestling, especially for professional wrestling with, my teenage years. And both of these men were extremely likable. Dusty Rhodes was, and you could actually argue that he is, of all time, the greatest person on the microphone in the world of professional wrestling. Anything he said drew money. It drew ticket sales. It drew pay-per-view buys. I mean, aside from this guy being a genius, and yes, he had things that he's done that also potentially hurt wrestling as well, such as the Dusty finish. But, he created Starrcade. He created Halloween Havoc, the Great American Bash. He created War Games, Why hasn't War Games come back? Why haven't they used Starrcade or Halloween Havoc? That's another topic for another time. But this guy was very important to WWE, and he's gone. Within the past few years, he was teaching the new kids, from anywhere, from people that were coming to the indies to people that, never ran the ropes until they came to WWE. He was teaching them how to use a microphone. And now he's gone. And that's a spot that I doubt can never be filled. So, appreciate that what he's done for the business, because I don't know if that's going to happen again. I don't know if you're going to see people as natural as, even half as natural as he was. Especially those that he won't be able to help because he's gone. The next batch of talent that's going to show up, they're going to be seriously in need of a lot of help. And then, you turn over to the video game industry. There's been a lot of criticism to Nintendo within the past, I'd have to say 10 years, even longer, with, people moving to CD-based games, and they, stuck to their guns and went with the N64's cartridge. And, in 2000 and, 2002, 2003, Satoru Iwata was named the successor, and this was the 4th president from a company that has at this point in time, been around for over 100 years. So that tells you something about how careful they are at choosing who is going to lead them. You know, they believed in this man, and, you know, within the 10 plus years he has been president, you know, he is responsible for, you know, some of the best and worst moments. You know, with the disappointing sales of the Wii U to the amazingly high sales of the Amiibos, the 3DS, the original Wii, which practically printed money, as everyone says. This guy was someone who did what he could to make something work. He kept Earthbound alive when they were going to essentially almost pull the plug on it. He helped make the Kirby games. You know, he was a part of HAL Laboratory for just about since its start. You know, and when they picked him as the successor to the previous president, you know, he delivered in many ways. And not really anyone can say a bad thing about him, from people that met him to people that's seen what he's done. And, you know, he died of, was it a bile duct growth? Pretty much cancer. But part of me wonders if he died another way instead. You know, I'm not saying on any kind of conspiracy theories, but what if he died of a broken heart? You know, that he possibly felt that, you know, he's trying his best, and people still, you know, come out and criticize Nintendo for what they're doing, you know. The YouTube policy, which, you know, at its infancy right now is, and that's for any company, is very gray. To the Wii U being just about on par with the previous gen, and how they're supposedly falling behind, and the Amiibos, how hard some of them are to get a hold of. You know, that's heartbreaking to some people that are trying to make their company better. So, you know, sometimes I wonder, after all this has happened, you know, what if it wasn't the cancer that took him? What if it was us? You know? What if we're just too hateful and too critical to all these companies that we destroy them on the inside? You know, is that what'll happen in the future to other people? Right now they're having Shigeru Miyamoto and some other guy, I forgot what his name was. They're pulling double duty right now, doing the stuff that they're supposed to do, and they're both taking over Satoru Iwata's work until a successor has been named. But who's going to be the successor? A lot of people are instantly going to think Shigeru Miyamoto, but I thought I heard something about that he was wanting to retire. I mean, you could say Reggie Fils-Aimé, he's the president of Nintendo of America, but do they want a non-Japanese citizen to run their company? That's something you have to ask, you know. And if it's not them, then who? Are they going to bring an outsider? I highly doubt that. They can't just pick some guy and say, you're going to run Nintendo. That's not how it's going to work with this company. This company has a lot of pride. And this company wants to make sure it's someone who appreciates the job and someone that they can believe in. Satoru Iwata was that guy. And now he's gone. So who are they going to fall back on now? That's something we all have to think about. And something that, you know, when the decision is made, maybe we have to be more optimistic instead of pessimistic on everything that's going on, you know? All this hate of the Wii U, all this hate of even, in some respects, the Amiibos, all this hate on entertainment in general, you know, even professional wrestling. other video game companies, TV shows, how TV's done. Maybe people should try to look at things more positive instead of always burying everything. And I know burying is a wrestling term, basically, maybe we should start putting things over a little bit more and start looking things in a more positive light than what we're doing now, because really this is not looking good for them, and in a sense it almost kind of doesn't look good for us either. So, what are we going to do about it? Maybe we should take a look at ourselves and take a look at what we've done, what we do, and what we're going to do, as a person to better ourselves and in turn better everything else before we go and judge what others are doing. Well, I'm done for now. You go and think about that, guys. Till next time, folks.